The temperature may climb a little bit today here on the shores of Lake Michigan. A breeze out of the southwest below 10 miles an hour. As you take a look at the first-year head coach of the Cleveland Browns, Eric Mangini. He was with the New York Jets in the same capacity. And since 2005, Lovie Smith and the Bears have the second best winning percentage in the NFC, now in his sixth season with Chicago. Flip of the coin won by the Cleveland Browns. So Robbie Gould will kick off for the Chicago Bears, and deep back will be the number 4 return man in the NFL, Joshua Cribbs. It's the Browns, it's the Bears, and here we go in Soldier Field, Chicago, and out of the end zone. Touchback to the 20-yard line, and Cleveland will take it first down and 10. Hayden, the tight end, is in the slot. First and 10. Vickers will be the fullback as he rearranges. And on first and 10, this is Jamal Lewis, who was brought down about the 24-yard line. He was hit on the play by Danielle Manning on a gain of 4. It's second down and 6 from the 24. Gaines, the tight end, was in motion. There's a pulling block by Steinbach and a tackle made by Tillman on a gain of 2 out to the 26-yard line. Four in the secondary. Gaines is the fullback, the ex-Bear, blocking for Anderson. Incomplete, near side, looking for the rookie Robisky. Coverage on the play by the aforementioned Bowman. It is 3 and out for the Cleveland Browns on their first possession.
Kevin, last week the Cincinnati Bengals converted 8 of their 12 third down opportunities against the Chicago Bears defense. Lovie Smith wanted to see his defense get off the field, pitch a 3 and out, and get the ball to the offense. They were able to accomplish that their first time on the field today.
Sastadil, one of the best in the business, will be punting. Devin Hester, number 6 in punt returns in the NFL, is back to retrieve it. Sent back to the 24. Under a 4-second hang time, and here goes the elusive Hester. He's got the punter, Sastadil, to beat, who brings him down at the 45. Oh, he is exciting. Hester is also a starting wide receiver, a 32-yard return there.
Yeah, he leads the team in receptions and receiving yards. They wanted to see him break one just like this. Be the difference maker that he was in 2006. Returning kicks and returning punts. You can see he's really coming into his own in all phases of this game.
With Forte in the backfield, it is first down and 10 from the 44. Forte. There's a block up there by Omiel, who's playing the other guard today. Under center is Cutler. So Garza is the right guard. Forte remains in the backfield. On second down and 8, it's Cutler, almost picked off on a pass intended for Earl Bennett. At about the 42, he had Adams there, and he had Eric Wright. Top left-hand portion of your screen, now far left right there. 87, normally a receiver. He'll be back at safety. He's one of 6 defensive backs, making 7 back there against Cutler on third and 8. With the pressure supplied by Corey Williams, chased by Rodgers, he's got to get to the 34 for the first down. And then he's belted out of bounds across the way on a gain of 4.
And Jay Cutler took a lick.
Eric Wright got him.
Eric Wright laid it to him, and Rob Ryan got up saying something. Cutler had a smile on his face, and this is where he wanted to cut it loose, but see the pressure coming in as Rodgers gives chase as well as other Cleveland Browns. Now, watch the lick. It's just putting a stamp on Jay Cutler. Woo! Yeah, you can feel that one from up here, Kevin.
So they waste the 32-yard punt return by Hester. To punt now for the Chicago Bears with Brad Maynard. Terrific inside the 20. They want to keep it away from these punt return guys. He nails it there at the 12. Terrific placed punt by Maynard, and a 13-year veteran out of Ball State, 26-yard punt. Each team 3 plays punt, just under 12 to play here in the first from the 12-yard line. First and 10, the Wildcat. That's the electrifying Cribbs who gets it, looking for a block, and then hit by a ton of Bears and brought down initially by Tommy Harris after a gain of 2. He's up to the 13-yard line. First quarter, Solomon has been a struggle for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, they have really struggled to put points on the board. 0 touchdowns in the first quarter in their last 14 games that we have seen there, and they have not scored a touchdown in 3 of their 4 road games so far this year.
It's 2nd down and 8. Quarterback Anderson is back under center. Gaines is in motion. They just signed him. Anderson, what a horrible looking pass. He was throwing to Gaines. It's incomplete. He was wide open on the play. This Tommy Harris, benched last week, the 3-time Pro Bowler, has garnered a lot of headlines here in Chicago.
Yeah, and the reason why is because we all know that defense does get the headlines here in Chicago. This team is built around its defense, and Tommy Harris is the guy that fused that front 7. Lovie Smith told us that, hey, our front 7 takes us as far as we can go. They're relying on Tommy Harris to be the difference maker that Shaun Rogers is for the Cleveland Browns.
Thacher has become the 5th defensive back, 3rd down and 8. They bring the blitz. Here comes Afalava. That ball is tipped incomplete. And Danielle Manning was diving for it. A very unimpressive second series for Anderson. Another 3 and out for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, the Bears have to get pressure in the face of Anderson. That's exactly what they do. Afalava is able to get the tip. And in the secondary, we say you intercept all tips and overthrows. The Bears should have been able to come down with that one. Lovie Smith wants his defense to produce turnovers today. He says they have to get more takeaways.
Hester has already had a 32-yard punt return. Here's no rush, or very little put on Zastudil. And Hester's going to wave it off. Not a lot of bounce, and it will go down to about the 41-yard line. 2 3 and out so far by the Cleveland Browns. Chicago getting it for a 2nd time. And the first quarter has not been kind to Chicago's offense.
Only 7 points scored in the first quarter, and second fewest behind Kansas City. They've been outscored in the first quarter, 45-7 so far this year.
Knox is out there as an extra wide receiver. They threw that flag quickly, and it's a false start against the Chicago Bears.
False start. Number 13, offense. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
It's 1st and 15. There is a block by Clark and a tackle made behind the line of scrimmage by King and Coleman and Robert Smith and Trusnick. They all met back there. It's a loss of 3 and a sack, and back to the 32.
Watch Cameron Wembley. Orlando Pace is struggling. He has struggled consistently, and see the pressure off the corners forces him to step up in the pocket, and that's where he gets sacked. So both tackles right now are really struggling to keep the quarterback clean. If you don't keep Cutler clean, it's going to be a long day. Rob Ryan going to continue to come after Cutler, trying to force the turnovers.
2nd down and 18. Furry has come in as an extra defensive back for the Cleveland Browns. Out of the reach of Forte, and the coverage on the play by McDonald. Bring up 3rd down and long. It's 3rd down and 18. David Bowens is coming in, and as they completely change up their defense, he was back where the defensive backs could stand. There's a catch made by Bennett, the hit by Poole, the gain to the 45, shy of a 1st down by 6 yards. It's a pickup of 12, and the Bears have got to punt again.
How do you crack the code that Rob Ryan has given Jake Cutler right now? They dropped about 4 or 5 different guys in different positions, so they gave one alignment, and then you just saw so many guys scattering into coverage. Very difficult to read for the quarterback. Jake Cutler did get rid of it, but not enough for a 1st down.
Trying to be a little inventive on the defensive end. Maynard will be punting. Cribbs is deep back. Wants the fair catch and makes it at the 15-yard line. From the 15-yard line, 3rd possession for the Browns. 1st down and 10. Lewis with the block. This is the fullback Vickers, who was hit by Roach and then was taken down about the 18-yard line on a gain of 4.
Kevin, let's go back to that previous 3rd down play. This is what Rob Ryan has given Jake Cutler to read. This is your pre-snap read, and you see only 3 guys back in the secondary. Now watch as they rotate. You have guys scattering to just about every area on the field, and Cutler has to read that defense, still find the open guy. Have to be very careful against this defense where you can easily throw interceptions.
2nd down and 6 from the 19. Jamal Lewis. like they had Lance Briggs, among others, in there with the stop on Lewis, and a gain on the play of about a yard close to the 20-yard line. They're going to need a lot of Lewis today, at least to control the clock, if nothing else.
Absolutely. You know, both teams are coming off real bad losses. Cleveland Browns lost 31-6 in Green Bay, and how about the Bears lost 45-10. And so Brian Daboll, as you take a look at him, trying to dial up something just to get the offense going. And then the Chicago Bears, they have to play inspired. This is a game that could really determine the course of the remainder of their season.
3rd down and 6 with the Wildcat, and here comes Cripps trying to force his way outside. He was hit by Manning. Afalafa was out there as well. It was a gain of 4. They had Adonijay on that defensive line, and they got a punt once again. And this for the Cleveland Browns, Solomon, is the 3rd consecutive 3 and out. They got a punt.
Yeah, and you have to use the Wildcat, and Joshua Cribbs get the ball in his hands. Think about the Cleveland Browns. They have 0 rushing touchdowns all season long, and no touchdowns by any of their wide receivers during the 2009 season.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Zastudil to punt. Neither team has gotten a first down as of yet in this game. Hester will get the Zastudil punt. And the ball taken at the 34-yard line under a 4-second hang time. A nice tackle made down there, made by Alex Hall. 7:27 here in the first from the 32-yard line. The Chicago Bears have it 1st down and 10. Mayava has taken the place of Tresnick right now, and here's a handoff to Forte, who is grabbed by Kenyon Coleman, so he's making his presence felt. Robert Smith with a stop as well. It is a gain of 4. The ball at the 36. On the 36, 2nd down and 6. Couple tight ends. Forte once again blocked. Oh, there's a good stop in there by Ataba Rubin. Gain was to the 37. He picks up a yard. We talked about the focus on Cutler. The April 2nd trade sent Kyle Orton and 3 high picks to the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, and at times we've already shown you how he's been very good. At other times, maybe not as good. I think the point is that the wide receivers are more productive since Cutler has come to this football team. He does force the defense to have to defend every blade of grass. If you want to help Cutler improve your run game, look at the 5 possessions by both teams so far in this game. 5 3-and-outs, and right now if they don't convert this 3rd down, we're going to have another 3-and-out.
6 in the secondary, 3rd and 5. Knocks the extra receiver. Here comes Cutler, gets a block. That's Forte. He's got the 1st down. He's chased into Cleveland territory. Brought down by Adams. The gain, the run to the 35. 28-yard catch and run. 1st down, Chicago.
Oh, this is something that Matt Forte was so good at 1 year ago when he led the team in rushing and receiving. Now that the wide receivers have picked up in the production, he's got to been the forgotten guy. So now you can dump it off to him on 3rd down. Look at the yards after the catch. And if you're going to drop off and have to defend the speedy wide receivers of Johnny Knox and Devin Hester, could leave Matt Forte wide open.
2 tight ends. 1st down and 10 from the 35. Good block by Williams, the right tackle. Here comes Barton. Here, oh, it's a fumble on the play. It's loose, and diving on it is Forte back at the 40. Basically wipes out that gigantic gain. They lose 25. Moments ago, they picked up 28. Now they're back at their own 40-yard line. Rob Ryan's defense all over the field.
Rob Ryan has thrown everything but the kitchen sink at Cutler. Watch Barton comes up the middle. He eludes him, but then he doesn't continue to try to escape Barton. Barton stayed with the play, knocked the ball out where Matt Forte has to recover it. And I think if you're Cutler, have greater pocket awareness. You were able to elude Barton initially, but guess what? Just because you stand there doesn't mean he's going to give up on the play. Cutler has to start with protecting the football. We said that at the top, and it still continues to be true here in the 1st quarter.
This offense has really sputtered, and it did last week, and it again has now. Here we've got a challenge that's been thrown out there by Lovie Smith.
Chicago is challenging the ruling on the field of a fumble. Timeout.
Welcome back to Chicago. We are still trying to review the play as officials are trying to determine, was Jay Cutler's arm moving forward. Watching this hit by Eric Barton. Okay, there's contact made. Now, the ball is certainly not going forward. His arm's not moving forward. Still has protect. Even when he does try to throw it, in my mind, it's a half-hearted attempt to get rid of the ball upon feeling contact, and still the arm didn't necessarily move forward. He threw the ball sideways.
The quarterback's arm was going forward, therefore it's an incomplete pass. It will be 2nd down and 10 yards from the 35-yard line. Please reset the clock to show 5:24. 5:24, please.
We've got to ask ourselves,
Chicago will not be charged with timeout.
Are quarterbacks allowed to just dump the ball and just throw it anywhere? Was that arm moving forward? The ball went sideways in my mind, Kevin. And are quarterbacks allowed to avoid a sack and risk a fumble by just shoving the ball out upon getting hit? He understood that Barton was on his back. He understood that he was under pressure and was being hit. And I thought it was a half-hearted attempt to get rid of the football once he was being hit.
It's 2nd down and 10. And here comes Forte running up the block at pace, then brought down on the play by Robert Smith after a gain of 1. He's to the 33. Dime secondary, 3rd and 9. Cutler's got the first down, and he swaggers his way down to the 13-yard line and slides right there. Barton was in the vicinity. Also a hit from Furry, 19-yard pickup and a first down.
We showed you that one play where the Browns dropped a lot of people in coverage. Cutler may have to do more of this and get out of there. If you're going to drop so many in coverage and you leave yourself vulnerable, he's a mobile enough quarterback to really make you pay. Smart play that time by Jay Cutler.
So on this drive, they've had a 28-yard catch and run by Forte, a 19-yard run for a first down right there by Cutler. 7th play of the drive, couple tight ends, 1st down and 10. Forte, big hole on the left side. Adams will bring him down along with Mayava. It is a 6-yard pickup. And a good block on that side by Beekman, the guard.
2 areas where the Browns, or I should say the Bears, have to improve. First down run plays, as you could see Forte just gashing the Browns. And then inside the red zone, they have to be productive. Remember the fumble by Forte in the red zone against Atlanta in the Monday night game? Now down here, protect the football. They have to come away with touchdowns. They have not been very good inside the red zone on offense.
There's a good block, too, by the tight end, Kellen Davis, on that last play. There is a flag thrown as Rashid Davis had come in as a receiver for the first time for Chicago.
False start. Right tackle and guard. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
The tackle is Williams. The guard is Garza with a look at Lovie Smith.
Let's take a look, see if you get some movement right there. That right tackle, 74, Williams, moving just a tad too early.
Knox is in with Cutler now as a receiver. Bottom of your screen, 2nd and 9. Wildcat, it's Forte. Handing off to Hester. Read beautifully by Kenyon Coleman, who's having a terrific start to this game. Coleman, who's battling a groin issue, has been playing with the Jets, Dallas, and Oakland, and now he's with this team. A loss of 5 on the play to the 19.
We talked about penetration can wreck your run game as well as your ability to protect the quarterback. Coleman just slashing right in, getting into the backfield of the Chicago Bears. That play didn't have a chance.
This defense of Cleveland today has been more aggressive than we've seen.
Well, you know, Rob Ryan understands it. He's got to shoot the gaps. You've got to get penetration in order to pressure your quarterback or stop the run game. And they have the defenders on that defensive line to do it.
Now Cutler in the gun, 3rd and 14. The blitz from Bowens. The pass thrown away by Cutler. They had 6 in the secondary. There was great coverage, but David Bowens playing inside and outside both for Rob Ryan today with a nice rush.
He is moving around, and he was unaccounted for in terms of the protection schemes for the Chicago Bears. Did not account for Bowens coming off the corner in the face of Cutler. Cutler told us he was going to do that. Down inside the red zone, if it's not there, I'm throwing it away, and we may have to live with just taking the field goal. Remember, avoiding the turnover down the red zone has to be paramount.
Here's Gold now trying a 37-yard field goal. The snap will come from Manley. The hold will come from Maynard. And this for the first score in the game. 3-zip Chicago, 2:22 in the first.
Jay Cutler got it going on that last possession, but prior to that, we've had no movement on offense. The Cleveland Browns still struggling to move the ball.
Gold just nailed a 37-yard field goal to give his Bears an early 3-0 lead. Cleveland comes in 1-6. Chicago comes in 3-3. Cribbs, you just saw him deep back there, and here comes Joshua Cribbs, former quarterback at Kent State. And out to the 20, and then hit and brought down on the play by Corey Graham on a 26-yard return.
Take a look at that. 3 plays and punt on 3 consecutive possessions. And I'm sure Rob Ryan says, hey, can we play a little bit of offense on defense? Can we? Because this defense right now is playing very well.
Very well. From the 23, 1st and 10, the slot receiver is through. Tight end Gaines is in motion. Joe Thomas, the left tackle, with the block that's intercepted by Daniel Manning. He'll get up, and here he goes. Roach throwing a block. Knocked out of bounds. As you see, Thomas steamroll Manning, who makes the interception. That is his 6th career interception. First of the season, 35-yard return. And down to the 13-yard line go the Chicago Bears.
It's only a 2-receiver route. Yeah, you have the tight end on the backside, but he's staring down this one the entire time. Great play by Daniel Manning. Reading the eyes of the quarterback, understanding route recognition, and then breaking to the point of the intercept and watching just lay out for this ball. Very seldom do you see the defensive backs making that kind of catch and then getting up and creating some yards after getting the interception. Great play by Manning.
Garrett Wolf is in the backfield. 1st down and 10 with a couple of tight ends. There's a block by Beekman, and Coleman was there along with Bowens and Robert Smith, limiting him to a gain of 2 to the 11-yard line. And boy, good field position today for Chicago on virtually every possession.
They've had wonderful field position. They've got to be able to take advantage of it. I'm sure Jay Cutler is saying to himself, guys, we got to take advantage of this offering by our defense. Convert points and opportunities inside the red zone.
The tight end Olsen will be at the bottom of your screen on a 2nd down and 8, and Wolf remains in the backfield. Garza with the block. Desmond Clark lost the ball. Big hit by Eric Barton, who is number 50, and one of the many Jets that Eric Mangini has brought to the Browns to try to get his system in place.
Well, Barton is a guy that knows this system very well. He knows the plays. Played for Rob Ryan, of course, at many different stops. He's a guy that can make some plays, but you know, if you're Rob Ryan, you got to understand, it starts with putting pressure on the quarterback, Jay Cutler, and then dropping guys into coverage, trying to steal the ball. Cutler is going to cut the ball loose. You've got to be in place to make a play on it.
Tight ends, and they're both going to be wide on 3rd down and 8. 6 in the secondary for the Cleveland Browns. Here comes Corey Williams, the ex-Packer. That's a low pass, uncatchable by Wolf. So they get this great position, and they're going to have to settle for 3 again for this offense of the Chicago Bears, which is ranked 21st in the NFL. Sally coming into today.
It was a designed screen play for Wolf, and in my mind, I think Cutler did the right thing. The defenders were squatting on the play. Had he thrown that ball high, good chance that it could have been intercepted. He just threw it right into the ground so that Robbie Gould can come in and kick another field goal.
That graphic we showed moments ago, only 7 first-quarter points this whole season. They're going to get 3 more right here, it would appear, and they do with the field goal of 29 yards. But again, great field position and getting only field goals. They've had 4 possessions. They've come up with just 2 field goals. They cash in there on the Manning interception.
Oh, absolutely. How about the defense? And that's what Lovie Smith told us. That we've got to create turnovers on defense. And I think he understands if the defense gets going, and boy, now the offense can get rolling. And then he wants a complete game today from his offense, defense, and special teams.
Here's the kickoff by Gould. Cribbs has returned a kickoff for a touchdown 6 times in his career, including this season. But not here. He's knocked down at about the 25-yard line, and he was hit on the play by Tim Shaw, who is a reserve linebacker on a 23-yard return. There is Derek Anderson, and there's Brady Quinn, the quarterbacks for the Browns.
Well, certainly, I think the way that Anderson has played, you've got to wonder, when do we see Brady Quinn? Remember, if he takes 70% of the snaps, his contract will pay him $11 million this year. That means he has to play in the last 9 games. Well, if he doesn't play today, there's only 8 games left. And so I don't know that we'll see him in this game today. In fact, we asked Eric Mangini, could we see Brady Quinn? He shook his head. Absolutely no.
Couple tight ends on 1st and 10. There's Afalava, the rookie, who makes the stop on Lewis. It's a gain of 5 on the play for Jamal Lewis. And we were a little bit surprised he said that because the quarterbacking has been so horrendous from Anderson so far.
Well, take a look at the October numbers for Derek Anderson. Very spooky indeed. Not good. Only 1 touchdown during the month of October. And look at the 3 games since. And so, yeah, definitely, you know that you can improve at the quarterback position. I believe Brady Quinn could come in and play better, at least than what we've seen.
Harrison and Adams are the 2 defensive tackles on 2nd down and 5. And here is a Lewis run, and around his ankle he had Nick Roach, who had been playing middle linebacker, moved outside. Hunter Hillenmeyer now the middle linebacker. Gain of 4 on the play. And he's up to about the 36-yard line. A look at Roach, and this is probably going to conclude our first quarter. There's a lot of pressure from the fans who now are going to plan some kind of sit out after the bye, at least for the kickoff in the Monday night game against Baltimore. There's a lot of unrest in Cleveland. A couple field goals by Gold. Chicago at the start of the second quarter on top 6-0. Browns first down of the game, and that last run by Lewis from the 36-yard line. Tommy Harris is still out of the game, although he started today, the defensive tackle. Jamal Lewis, nice block on the play by Rex Hadnot, and the tackle was made by Hunter Hillenmeyer. Gain of 9, 2nd down, long 1. 2 tights remain. Lewis. There's a good block by St. Clair, the ex-Chicago Bear. Tackle was made on the play after a gain of 3 by Lance Briggs.
Yeah, you know, Eric Mangini has made a lot of moves. They do have 11 picks in the draft next year. We've seen the trades of players like Kellen Winslow and Braylon Edwards. But, you know, the team, they are taking some proactive measures to try to win back the fans. They've put out focus groups and tried to respond to some of the complaints that the fans have had. They've asked the fans, what do you want to see with this football team?
There was a loose ball on the handoff to Jamal Lewis, and that is a fumble. It's another turnover in the season of turnovers for the Cleveland Browns. That's the 2nd today. Interception the first time. And it looks like perhaps Agunlia was on the bottom of that pile.
Oh, this is what you don't want to see. You don't want to see your team come out and turn it over on the 2nd consecutive possession. Jamal Lewis fumbles it.
Two straight turnovers by the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, Cleveland Browns, Thanksgiving comes early. They're way too generous with the football, making it very difficult for Eric Mangini and his group to be competitive in football games.
2 tight ends for the Bears. Trusnick is back in as an outside backer. It is 1st down and 10. Forte's in the backfield. Good block by Pace. Good block by Williams. Nice catch made, 35-yard line with Bowens making the stop. The grab was made by the tight end, Greg Olsen. It's a gain of 12 on the play. 2 tight ends still, including Kellen Davis. There's a Forte handoff on 1st and 10. Garza trying to lead the way in the Trusnick tackle along with C.J. Mosley defensively for the Browns on a gain of 4 to the 30-yard line. The AFC West, as you take a look at right there, with Orton leading the way, Denver undefeated.
How about that, in playing today in Baltimore, coming off the bye week? Certainly a surprise, but the way that team is playing defensively, I think, has really helped them to become a more complete football team. And very shocking that San Diego only 3-3 after 6 games.
Knox and Hester will be up there. Nothing to Hester yet. 2nd down and 6, although he has had a 32-yard punt return in this game. Williams another good block, but here comes Kenyon Coleman. There's the dump off to Forte, who's knocked down by Trusnick, who came in at Braylon Edwards trade from the Jets. It's a pickup of 3. He's down to the 27. Earlier in the game, Forte had a catch and run sally of 28 yards.
A lot of people starting to question the Chicago Bears, you know, gone but not forgotten. Players that were once here in Chicago, a high draft pick like Sid Benson, now leading the league in rushing, and Kyle Orton now in Denver playing very well with a tremendous quarterback rating where he's only thrown 1 interception all season long. But what did Lovie Smith tell us? He said November and December is where we start to really play football. This is the game, or the time of year, where we start to define who we are.
It's 3rd down and 3, 4 in the secondary. Here's Hester for the first time today. Gets a 1st down, works on Eric Wright, runs out of bounds at about the 21-yard line, and a gain of 6. And watching all the tape of Cutler and how he is immersing himself with this offense, what are you seeing in some of the issues that he's had to face?
Well, first of all, I see more good than bad. I see the wide receivers catching 50% more passes than they did a year ago. They're averaging
huge.
12 catches per game. Last year, only 7 catches per game. Most of the catches went to the backs and tight ends, but he pushes the ball down the field. I think at times he is going to push the limits. He's going to try to squeeze the ball into tight windows, and it comes back to bite him.
Forte on 1st and 10. McKee with a great block. Hester gives a block inside the 10. Finally, Adams brings him down. Gain of 12 down to the 9.
In my mind, this is the thing that Jay Cutler needs more than anything. He needs a running game, and the way they're powering this one off the left side, getting Matt Forte to the 2nd level. This is what Jay Cutler needs more than anything, so that you don't have to put it all on the quarterback to make plays. The improvement in the running game, especially on 1st down runs, and Matt Forte, I think will help equalize the balance on offense and take some of the burden off Jay Cutler to have to throw the ball into those tight windows that we talked about.
Clark and Davis are the 2 tight ends. 1st and goal at the 9. Forte, Garza with the block. Beekman with the block. Trusnick with the tackle near the 5. Gain of 3.
Good play by Trusnick. I thought Forte was going to actually make it into the end zone. He was able to submerge and get under the blocker and still came up and make the tackle. Watch Garza right there, but see how they were able to get underneath and beat the blocker and still grab hold of the leg of Matt Forte to get him on the ground. Trusnick came over in that trade from New York, was with the Jets, and when Braylon Edwards went to New York, and now here comes Trusnick making plays for Rob Ryan.
They've been here before. They've only gotten field goals.
Yeah, let's see if they can get it in.
2nd down and 6. Couple tight ends. Forte grabbing the play by Corey Williams, and a gain of 3 as they continue to chisel their way down there. It's down to the 2-yard line, and sometimes it can be just a turnover or a touchdown drive like this to kind of ignite an offense and truly turn the corner.
But what did Lovie Smith tell us when we talked to him on Friday? We have to play better in the red zone. We have to protect the ball. We got to run better on 1st down. Now, they've run the ball on this possession. They've gotten into the red zone in the 1st and now in the 2nd quarter. Let's see if they can get it in. It's a shame they have to throw it in order to score touchdowns in the red zone.
3rd and goal to 3. 2 tight ends. You see the allotment of receivers. The nickel secondary for the Browns. Here comes Cam Wembley. He's got the quarterback, Cutler. And again, Cleveland's defense holds him out of the end zone and relegates Cutler and the ineffective Chicago offense to a 3-point try, and Rob Ryan takes a personal victory there.
Take a look at the protection scheme. They don't even account for Cameron Wembley. They don't even block him, so completely confusing the offensive lineman as you see Greg Olsen release. And now, guess what? Cutler has to recognize where the hot receiver is also. I think he's got to be aware of where the free blitzer is coming from.
Loss of 11 on the sack by Wembley. Here's the field goal try of 32 yards. That's good by Gold. Now, last possession, the Chicago Bears, Solly had it 1st and goal at the 9. They can only get 3 out of that possession. Here's the ensuing kickoff by Gold. Cribbs has been ineffective so far as a return man from the 1. Let's see what he does here. Bottled up. Daniel Manning was the first to hit him. Rasheed Davis was down there too. Lovie Smith is calling the defense this season for the Bears.
Oh, he's taken over this football team and over the defense, and really has, I think, been very accountable, providing leadership for change on this defense after giving up 45 points last week.
Tommy Harris is back on that defensive line. 1st and 10. Here comes Lewis. He's chased by Roach, and then Roach jumps on his back at about the 28-yard line on a gain of 2. Roach has just been taken out. Thatcher's been put in. Here's a handoff. And the tackle was made by Lance Briggs on a gain of 5. The ball at the 32-yard line. And the ball carrier on the play was Harrison.
Well, this is a football team. What did Lance Briggs tell us? We have to earn our respect back 1 game at a time. This is a football team that came off last week really after a disappointing performance, and they said, hey, we've got to go out and we've got to earn it back 1 game at a time. People are going to see that film going around the National Football League, think they can come in here and run the ball on the Bears defense.
Womack on this series playing the right guard for the Browns. 3rd down and 3. They need the 36. Blocked by Thomas, hit by Harris. Anderson gets away, then throws it away. Tommy Harris playing with that bad left knee, forcing a 3-and-out for Cleveland.
But he does have 2 good arms, and what that means is you've got to wrap up the quarterback. See, he blocks him, tries to push him, thinking he's going to go to the ground, but Derek Anderson is a big boy. And you got to wrap him up and tackle him to the ground in order to get the sack. I don't know what that was from Tommy Harris. He knows better. You've got to wrap up the quarterback. Would have been a huge play for the Bears defense.
They call it a forward pass. Here are the 5 possessions today for the Cleveland Browns. 3 and punts, an interception, and a fumble.
A lot of Dave Zastudil and a lot of turnovers.
You could argue that he's the MVP of the first part of the season for the Cleveland Browns. Basically won that game in Buffalo a couple weeks ago. Here he punched to Hester. And a kick sideways on time of 3-7-8. Not much right there. And the ball loosed at a touch. The Chicago Bear and Cleveland is saying they've got the ball. Now the officials are pointing in the direction of Chicago. With 6:56 to play here in the second quarter as we had a scrum across the way and a 38-yard punt by Zastudil.
Dave Zastudil has been very good. I don't think it touched anyone.
No.
Wearing a Chicago Bear uniform. You know, coming into this game, Dave Zastudil, 14 of his last 18 punts have been downed inside the 20-yard line. So certainly he's more of an MVP on a team that's 1-6 where he's making most of the plays. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Number 41, Cleveland, was out of bounds when he touched the ball. Therefore, the ball is dead right there. 1st and 10, Chicago. Timeout.
On the 29 after the punt, ran out by Cleveland. 1st and 10 for the Chicago Bears at the 29. Forte is in the backfield. Couple tight ends. Cutler with play action. Here comes Rodgers. That ball batted down and incomplete.
Not been able to keep Jay Cutler clean. You can see the 3 red zone possessions, 3 field goals to show. They've had 27 offensive plays in this game. 20 of them have been in Cleveland Brown territory, but still not a lot of points to show for that good field position.
2nd down and 10. Outside to Hester. He'll dance over there with Eric Wright and try to find himself freedom. He can't. 31-yard line. Knocked out after a gain of 2. And Lovie Smith also told us as he stepped back and tried to gain perspective on this season. With 5 of the next 7 here at home, this, he said, will be the defining time in our season.
That's right. He says, hey, we're supposed to play our best ball in November and December. He said when the weather starts to change and it gets cold, that's what they feed off of. And we talked about really the identity of this football team is the defense. So when their run defense is playing well, the rest of the team tends to play well.
Furry, one of 5 defensive backs for the Cleveland Browns. 3rd down and 8 now. There's a block by Olsen and Cutler going long on the near side. His receiver cut at the 50. The ball landed at the 40. They were going for Knox. A flag is down at the 19 and Cutler looked like he was whacked.
Roughing the passer, number 95, defense, helmet to helmet contact, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
On a 3rd and 8, they call it on Wembley, who had a sack the last time of Cutler.
Got to be able to hold up. This ball had been cut loose. See the helmet to the chin. Helmet to the chin of Jay Cutler, who's come up a little bit woozy, trying to clear the cobwebs at this point.
That'll be finable too.
Wow. Yeah, you're going to get hit in the wallet for that one, and you give him a new set of downs also. This is where Jay Cutler maybe not given enough credit. He is a tough quarterback. I've seen him take licks, stay in games, and still move the chains.
By the way, Cleveland is the 2nd least penalized team in the NFL coming in. That was a positive that Eric Mangini talked about with us last night.
Absolutely, Mangini. That was the one thing he talked about where he felt that his team had been improving. Of course, not a lot of areas where you feel his team is playing well, but that's one of the things. He talked about the discipline of his team, but they lack discipline on that play by Cameron Wembley.
Cutler had a little blood, it looked like, the last time we saw him head on. Tough kid. You and I have covered him for years, especially last season in the 4,500-yard passing season from
you can see
the Denver Broncos. Look at he
telling him, get the play in. He said, get us the play in so we don't lose time and have to take a penalty.
He is a piece of work. 46-yard line. It is 1st and 10. Forte, great penetration on the side. It came from Abram Elam, one of those ex-Jets. There are 10 on the Cleveland Browns. A gain of a yard to the 46-yard line.
We're talking about Jay Cutler. Watch when he stick the tongue out. Did he bite it a little bit?
He sure did.
Yeah, whack to the chin, caused him to bite a tongue. Clearly not wearing a mouthpiece.
Yeah. Browns will have 4 in the defensive secondary. 2nd down, long 9. The tight ends, wide left and wide right. Clark to the bottom of your screen. Olsen to the top, 2nd and 9. Good block by Pace. That's caught by Hester, and a good catch too. He got it in front of Elam. The gain to the 33-yard line.
Well, you got
21-yard pickup.
Give Jay Cutler a lot of credit. Watch the pressure coming down the middle. And he still stares down the barrel to deliver a strike to Devin Hester because the defensive tackles and linemen were coming right at him. Shaun Rogers bearing down, and then there's the throw. You say, well, why was it thrown a little bit behind him? When Shaun Rogers is coming right up the gut, right into your face, you might want to put it on the back shoulder of the wide receiver.
Hester had his first 100-yard receiving game last week against Cincinnati. Here's a 1st and 10 from the 33. 5 in the secondary. The blitz comes from the corner. They go outside. That's caught by Hester. He's got pace out there in front with Olsen. He's brought down by Wimbley. And the gain is 7 yards down to the 26-yard line.
Shaun Rogers just living in the backfield of the Chicago Bears. And Cutler's able to just barely get the ball off before he's getting hit. You see that jersey? He's got a lot of dirt on that jersey.
Very aggressive stance today by Rob Ryan.
They're coming after him. They're getting hits on him. See that right there? This is a 350-pound guy knocking you to the ground.
One of the best right there. Pro Bowls over the last couple of years for Rogers. 3 in his career. 2nd down and 3. He's out right now. Rubin taking his place at that nose tackle. Forte with a nice block on Wimbley, who was coming in. Here's Olsen. There was a block by Kellen Davis. And looked like Wright and Barton got a hand on him. Barton is now down. The gain, a catch and run of 12. Another 1st down. Markham at the 14-yard line of the Cleveland Browns.
Greg Olsen's limping, but I think 2 Cleveland Browns hit each other. Wow. You got to hit the other guy, not your guy. And that's why Barton came up just a little bit woozy. They did get a nick on the leg of Greg Olsen, who's also limping.
And, you know, he's had kind of a quiet season. 23rd, Solomon, coming into today among tight ends in receiving and yardage for tight ends.
But the receptions for the wide receivers are up for the Chicago Bears. Devin Hester came in leading the team with 28. Earl Bennett with 23 receptions. Forte over 20, and so is Johnny Knox. I think you got 4 guys with 20 or more receptions, and then Olsen came in with 19. So maybe while the other guys' production have gone up, his has come down a little. We expected him to put up numbers, but I think in the ebb and flow of the offense as the season progresses, you'll see him get his numbers as well, catching the ball over the middle of the field.
Plus, the defenses have been keying in on Olsen as you take a look at Barton leaving.
And we talk about the Chicago Bears struggling inside the red zone, where that has been chronicled. Give a lot of credit to the Cleveland Browns defense. If you take a look at a woozy Eric Barton, but the Browns have been very good on defense down inside the red zone today.
Here's a timeout taken by Cutler. We've got 3.5 to play here in the 1st half, and the quarterback from Vanderbilt, who was the Southeastern Conference Player of the Year when Mike Shanahan was at Denver and they were going to draft him. He didn't tell anybody, not even his closest confidants in Denver, that this is the guy that they had circled. But he did talk to one other person. That was Jeff Fisher, the coach of the Tennessee Titans in Nashville, had seen this kid up close. And when Fisher said, I can vouch for this kid, that's when Shanahan pulled the trigger and drafted him so high.
To become the SEC Player of the Year at Vanderbilt, I mean, that's doing something. Because you're talking about a lot of talented athletes at Florida, at LSU, at Alabama, at Georgia, and then you're the guy that walks away with the biggest piece of hardware as the best player. That's really putting it together.
It's 1st and 10. Look at the pulling pace and the key, and it's a pitch out going to the running back Forte. Adams brings him down, limits him to a gain of a yard. So you've been watching this Cleveland defense today. I mean, can you find a point where their defense has really snuffed them in the red zone?
Why
they're doing it?
Absolutely, because you know what? Rob Ryan understands he has a big man in the middle of the defense and no one can block him, and that is Shaun Rogers. He really is teeing off on the Chicago Bears offensive line. They have to dedicate at least 2 guys to block him. And what that does, Kevin, it frees up the other guys on the edges to make plays. Cameron Wimbley has been a huge recipient of the damage done in the middle by Shaun Rogers.
Tight ends are wide, 2nd and 9. Cutler, here comes the rush again, this time from Bowens, being chased by Kenyon Coleman. Hester tries to catch it and does. Right in front of Tresnick and right at about the 7. Gain of 6 on the play.
Yeah, Rogers isn't in right now, but watch Bowens comes up the middle. Scot-free, 96. Pressures Cutler out of the pocket. Anytime you can force quarterbacks to move laterally, their accuracy goes down, and now their patience to allow the progression to materialize, it also goes down. He has to dump it off to Hester. Can't even find anyone in the end zone.
Hester's 3rd catch on this drive.
Yeah, he's making plays, but they're not getting the ball where they want it, which is in the end zone.
2.5 to play. Play clock was down to 8, and a timeout has been taken by Cleveland. Bowens has been playing well today. Mangini has got his defense playing well, and Rob Ryan, they talked about how they've taken more fundamental tackling drills in practice than he can recall.
Well, last week, if you watch the tape of that game against the Green Bay Packers and watch Donald Driver run up and down the field, yeah, you have to go back to tackling. That's what they did Wednesday and Thursday practice, live tackling drills, and some of the drills these players hadn't done since they were in high school. They was complaining and said, hey, we got to do that high school tackling drill. And Eric Mangini says, yeah, I didn't know you tackle as if you played in high school. So until you improve on that, we're going to continue to do the drill. We've seen them tackle much better today.
Rodgers back in on that defensive line. 3rd and 3. Cutler on the drive. 5 of 6. You see the assortment of receivers. Forte held by Mayava. Grabbed by Poole and corkscrews his way down to the 1. He gained over 1,200 yards last year. Quiet the last couple weeks. A pickup of 6 right there.
And what did Lovie Smith tell Matt Forte? Hey, you don't have to be Walter Payton on every single play. Sometimes for running backs, and particularly the young ones, just take what the defense gives you. If it's a 3rd and 1 play, all we need is 2 yards gained on the play. Get the first down. Don't look to hit the home run on every single carry.
5 defensive linemen for the Cleveland Browns. They've got 1, make it 2 defensive backs. Schaefer has come in as a tackle eligible on the offensive line. 1st and goal at the 1. Forte. He dives. Touchdown. 1-yard touchdown run, and the first of the game for the Chicago Bears, and the 2nd rushing touchdown for Matt Forte this season.
Well, I thought Matt Forte showed tremendous patience, because the Cleveland Brown defenders thought he was going to try to go up and over. Watch, he doesn't launch. He stays on the ground, slides to his left, and then he has the power to push the pile into the end zone. He did show the kind of patience that I think earlier in the year he had lacked. And that's exactly what Lovie Smith had been coaching in terms of the point of emphasis for improvement for Matt Forte.
Here's the extra point by Gold. So, a 1-yard touchdown run by Matt Forte. They are going to salute the memory of Peyton and his great years of service here in Chicago at halftime. And a lot of number 34 jerseys all over Soldier Field today. He touched the hearts of so many people. He was so involved in the community, and his legacy lives on.
Can't help but think about Walter Payton and think about the toughness in which he played the game. And I think anyone who wears a Chicago Bear jersey, you have to really epitomize and embody what he meant to football. As you take a look at some of his family members who are here today to honor the memory of Walter Payton.
Saw Matt Suhey back there in back of Walter's wife. His mother has been flown up from Mississippi. You just saw here, and you saw the 2 kids in the background. The kickoff goes to Cribbs. And take it out from 3 yards deep. Oh, what a nice tackle and a fumble on the play. Looks like Chicago may have gotten it. No, Cleveland's got the ball to hit by Greg Stelz out of LSU. Big-time player. First-team All-America. He was with Chicago in his 2nd NFL season. First down and 10. Anderson gets a Joe Thomas block, his left tackle. He hits the wide receiver Furry, who was hit by Daniel Manning. And Manning already has the interception today. That's a gain of 9. And the ball spotted at the 24-yard line. 2nd down and 1. Harrison is in the backfield with Anderson. Incomplete, looking for Hayden. Coverage on the play by Adonijah. Bears player is down. And I had the card in my hand, and I wasn't looking up, and I don't think I can give you a number, folks, and I'm not even going to try to.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, we're hoping that he can be okay. Adewale Ogunleye is a player that obviously is part of this front 7 for the Chicago Bears. Very deep in their rotation at defensive end. Remember, they made a trade for Gaines Adams, who's come over. They're expecting big things from him as well. So they've got a real good rotation of defensive ends who can pressure the quarterback. Take a look here on the left side. There you go. See what happens here. Look like a hand to the face right there. Yeah, I think he was poked in the eye.
And he was going against the former Chicago Bear, John St. Clair. and that is Ogunleye, who is being attended to on the field. We've had a game where the Chicago Bears have had multiple red zone appearances today against the Cleveland defense, and 3 of the 4 times Cleveland held them out of the end zone, relegating the Chicago Bears to field goals, but the 4th time produced a 1-yard touchdown dive by Matt Forte. And there is Ogunleye, who, by the way, is in a contract year after spending 4 years with Miami, a Pro Bowler in 03. This is his 6th season with the Chicago Bears.
Very good player. There's no doubt. I mean, they've got some really good pass rushers that come off the edge. I think they're more effective when Tommy Harris and the interior defensive linemen for the Bears are effective at pushing the pocket. And then you get the one-on-one edge rushers, and boy, they just feed on each other when it comes to putting pressure on the quarterback.
Mark Anderson has taken his place. He's with Brown and Harris on that defensive line. And here's a 3rd and 1 Wildcat direct snap to Cribbs. First down.
Yeah, you have to use, I think, the Wildcat if you're Cleveland to supplement your ability to run the football.
1st and 10, the snap to Anderson, going deep and looking for Massaquoi. Covered on the play by Tillman. It was interesting, after you and I did the Pittsburgh-Cleveland game, they ran the Wildcat with such great success in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. Then last week against Green Bay, just 1 Wildcat play for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and they really elected to go away from it. I'm sure coming away from that game thinking maybe we should have did it more. Mangini told us that they even want to use him at running back. They know he is their best offensive weapon, but with him running the Wildcat and playing wide receiver and playing the special teams role, said that there's a lot on his plate, so don't want to overload Joshua Cribbs at this point.
Roach is out. Vasher is in as a 5th defensive back. 2nd, and here comes Hillenmeyer. Down goes Anderson. He was hit on the play by Alex Brown, among others, his 3rd sack of the year. And he's got Anderson back for a loss of 10 to the 20.
Here he is coming off the corner against Joe Thomas, trying to keep him from getting to the quarterback, but you can see Hillenmeyer's back there as well, so they just really crash in. Hillenmeyer blitzing from that middle linebacker position. He's done a good job of just getting everyone lined up today, where now they can play fast, they can play aggressive, not a lot of thinking, not a lot of checks at the line of scrimmage. Alex Brown coming off the corner for the sack.
And working on Joe Thomas, who's a Pro Bowler in his own right as the left tackle for the Browns.
You know, but when you have a middle linebacker who can steady and right the ship like Hunter Hillenmeyer has done, I think it allows your defense to be more aggressive, because he's good seeing, communicating, getting everyone lined up. Watch, once he reads the defense, still communicating, telling guys where to go. He is now the quarterback of this Bears defense.
There's the Wildcat snap on 3rd and 21. Lawrence Vickers with a block and an eventual tackle made by O'Donoghue and Tillman after a gain of 10. He's out to the 29.
Just a really good play. Yeah, they had some yards gained on that play, but not nearly enough for the 1st down. See how they're rolling and pulling everyone, the guard and the onside tackle, Joe Thomas, but they're able to get him on the ground. Good play.
Charles Tillman didn't give up on the play, took the initial block, and then he went back and made the stop. Well, we've seen good defense by Cleveland. They've been pressured the entire game. We've seen turnovers, an interception, and a fumble by Anderson in the 1st half. And they're getting shut out again at halftime.
Yeah, and this is an offense that has struggled to put points on the board during the 2009 season. Not nearly enough consistency or firepower on offense.
Daniel Manning is back for the kickoff from Phil Dawson. He's back today after missing a bunch of this early season with a calf injury, and Manning will take it from the 7-yard line. Hester's been busy today, and the tackle was made by Ventrone. 16-yard return. At halftime, Walter Payton was honored here with his daughter, his wife, his mother there on the left, Jarrett there on the right. And the video tribute, Bears did a terrific job in saluting on this, the 10th anniversary of Walter Payton's death. From the 24-yard line, it is 1st and 10. Forte with a touchdown run is back there with Olsen. Blocked by Kreutz, tackled by Tresnick and by McDonald. Back to the 23-yard line and a gain of a yard on the play. as you take a look at the first half for the Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears started off a little bit slow, going 3 and out on their first 2 possessions, but then got it going. The turnovers kind of got the offense going. Yeah, they did struggle inside of the red zone where they had to settle for 3 field goals, but on that final red zone possession, look at that drive. 10 plays, 71 yards, and was able to pay it off with a Matt Forte run for a touchdown.
You see the assortment of receivers, including tight ends. 2nd down and 10. Furry is back as the 5th defensive back for the Browns. Here comes the rush. Adams slowed him down. And then there was a hit by Costanzo. Usually on special teams, he comes through. And Corey Williams, an avalanche of defenders sent by Rob Ryan, a loss of 6, 3rd sack of the day.
Rob Ryan's going to dial it up, and you can see there's Adams coming off the corner. Do they account for him? No. And Cutler's got to understand it is necessarily a 3-step drop, even though he's in the shotgun. But once you see him, he does protect the football. I like the fact that he's not just throwing the ball up for grabs, trying to get rid of it and putting the ball in harm's way, but got to be able to pick up the blitzes and understand where the hot read is.
3rd down and 6. They've got Bowens back off your screen. You can't even see him. He's playing so deep on the 3rd and 16, and the little run produces just a handful right there and a gain of 6 on the play. So Hester finds very little room. Oh, that was Forte, excuse me, who carried that ball. Hester was up there blocking, and Cutler with a 3 and out for his offense on their first second half possession.
Oh, the Cleveland Browns defense dialed up some pressure, on Jay Cutler, and they were able to get into the backfield, put pressure on the quarterback, and forcing him to not be able to complete passes. How about the Browns coming out playing some defense?
Here's the punt, and it's sent toward Cribbs. A flag has been thrown. Cribbs is the #1 punt returner in the National Football League, and I guess we're going to go back with Anderson with 13:01 to play here in the 3rd. The flag has been thrown at the 28-yard line at the other end of the floor of the field.
Ineligible player downfield, number 25 on the kicking team. 5 yards from the previous spot. Replay 4th down.
Well, 25 is Garrett Wolf, who's a reserve running back who's seen some time today already.
Well, we're seeing some real good special teams player in this game. How about Joshua Cribbs receiving the punt for Cleveland? Devin Hester, we've already seen him on kickoff return. Daniel Manning is a guy that we know can break off the big ones, returning kicks as well. So both special teams really do play at a very high level, ranking near the top in the National Football League.
Hester can return kicks and punts. Johnny Knox was returning kickoffs last week in Cincinnati, but it was, as we saw at the beginning of this drive, they had Daniel Manning return kicks last year. Maynard again. That's a bad punt off the side of his foot, and Cleveland is going to be given great beginning possession here. Let's see where this puts the Cleveland Brown offense at the 30-yard line of Chicago. A 12-yard Brad Maynard punt. He's averaging 42 yards a boot. So the penalty, horrible against Chicago. Cleveland cashes in, and they get great beginning field position. 12-yard punt, a penalty on the punt before. Makes up 35 yards in hidden yardage. 30-yard line, 1st and 10, first, second half possession for the Cleveland Browns. 2 tight ends. Jamal Lewis, gigantic hole as he charges his way free for a 1st down to the 17-yard line. He picks up 13 on the play. Big run by Jamal Lewis. Hit on the play by Harris.
Well, we told you that gap integrity in the run defense for the Chicago Bears had been a problem last week. We could see them getting out of position. Didn't have the gap filled at time, allowing Jamal Lewis to get to the 2nd level.
1st and 10. Lewis again. Steinbach with the block, and he grinds out some more. Down to the 11. Picks up 6. Hadnot begins this particular drive at the right guard for the Browns.
Yeah, they're going right off the right side behind Hadnot and John Sinclair, the former Chicago Bear, getting some yards. Positive gains in the running game for the Cleveland Browns. If they can start running the football, boy, this offense can finally start putting some points on the board.
Cribbs, bottom of your screen, wide, 2nd down and 4. Starting defensive line is out there for the Chicago Bears. Great block by Steinbach, and here once again charging to the one, Jamal Lewis. Hit on the play by Roach. 10-yard gain, 1st and goal for Cleveland.
And right now they're just going right up the gut. Watch, it comes right here. Right up the gut. See that hole there? It opens up magnificently on the back end of the Chicago Bears defense. Able to get a hat on the hat. And it's not until Lance Briggs comes over to wrap up the legs of Jamal Lewis are they able to get him on the ground.
Fraley is in. Steinbach is going to a tackle on the right side. Tight ends all over the place. 1st and goal. This is Jamal Lewis with a sledgehammer. No sign yet. Has he gotten in? And no. Shy in the defense of Chicago. And
let's see if they get in. Let's take a look at it. See if he was able to break the plane. There's the ball right there. I don't think it did.
Tommy Harris is the one who hit him.
Great camera work.
Steinbach is playing the right tackle eligible. 2nd and goal at the 1. The quarterback 6'6". Anderson goes in. Touchdown. He gets in there. Anderson with the touchdown run, his 2nd of the season. And a 1-yard plunge. And they take advantage of a 12-yard punt by Maynard after a penalty which wiped out a play that would have started Cleveland in their own territory.
He's 6'6". Let's see if he can get that ball. There it is. As soon as he stuck the ball out, he broke the plane for the touchdown. Your 6'6" quarterback, and the reach of Derek Anderson is able to get that ball across the goal line for a touchdown. Didn't come easy, but boy, did the Browns respond with that first possession here in the 2nd half.
Dawson will try the extra point. It's blocked. Did Adonijah get it? I think Adonijah got that ball and knocked it away. And no surprise there because Adonijah has 4 blocked field goals in his career. Watch for number 71. He comes up. He got it. Bears get it after a touchdown run of a yard by Derek Anderson. Lewis was the one who was starring on that last drive. Extra point block. Here's Cutler, and Solomon East 10 of 17 today.
He's got to really get it going on this drive after going 3 and out.
Greg Olsen brought down by Abram Elam. 42-yard line, 16-yard pickup, and a 1st down.
Good protection. You can see a little play action that holds the linebackers, allowing Greg Olsen to get open on the back end and just really taking what the defense gives them. Anticipating that the Cleveland Browns are going to come after Jake Cutler. I think they got to go to more 3-step drop. He's got to anticipating getting the ball out of his hands a little bit sooner.
Rubin is in for Rodgers on the defensive line, 1st and 10. Here comes Trusnick, and down he goes. Everything that the defensive coordinator, Rob Ryan, is dialing up today in terms of pressure. I mean, he has sent pressure from every angle. That's the 4th sack on Cutler. Loses 6 right there.
And here it is, coming off the corner. See, coming late. The delayed blitz. Once the tackle turns in, Orlando Pace turns in on Bowens, and Trusnick can come free, very clean off the corner to get the sack. They're not picking up. The protections are just not really holding for Jay Cutler, and they're not able to pick up all the blitzing defenders for Cleveland.
Trusnick with his 2nd sack in his career. His 2nd and 16, loss of 6 on that play, back to the 36. 5 defensive backs out there for the Browns. Timeout taken by the frustrated Cutler. 2nd and 16 after the timeout. Cutler has been sacked 4 times today. That's and 22 dropbacks to throw.
Yeah, harried 8 times, have been knocked down another 7, so they're getting after him. Rob Ryan putting complete pressure on Jay Cutler, and I think it's their inability to run the ball effectively on first down that's really putting him in harm's way.
Blitz again picked up by Forte. 2nd and 16. That is caught. Johnny Knox, the rookie from Abilene Christian, to the 49, and a 13-yard pickup. And they had Adams along with Bowens right there, but Adams made the hit.
Well, they did blitz him, but the protection held up. If you protect and give him time to throw, he's going to find the receivers open down the field. The strike to Johnny Knox over the middle of the field creates a new set of downs, but you know, Rob Ryan's going to continue to come after the quarterback.
3rd down and 3. Williams, C.J. Mosley on the defensive line, an assortment of defensive backs numbering 6. 3rd and 3. Forte with the block. Here comes Wembley. And he has to throw it away because the pressure came from the outside. And so Chicago has got a punt. Rob Ryan has called a masterful defensive game today. Last punt recall went just 12 yards.
Yeah, see the pressure coming right here. And you can see Wembley dipping that shoulder. You can see Bowens, Wembley coming off the corner, forcing the throw, and they're forced to punt again.
Butler had hit his last 7. Now another punt coming up from Maynard. Deep back is Cribbs. We know how good he is. We've mentioned this before. #1 punt returner in the NFL coming into this week in the NFL's 8th weekend. And here is the punt by Maynard. Letting it bounce. Saved. Saved by Corey Graham. Grabbed by Davis, but it was Graham, a third-year player out of New Hampshire, and a 5th-round pick. A couple of 1-yard touchdown runs. The quarterback of Cleveland, Anderson, had one last time. Great punt by Maynard. Marooned it as 1. Anderson first down and 10. Harrison in the backfield. St. Clair with a nice block. And squirming free to the 11-yard line after the stop made by Danielle Manning, and close to a first down and a gain of 10 is Harrison, who was almost inactive today by the coach Eric Mangini.
And right now the Cleveland Browns are starting to blow holes in the middle of that Chicago Bear defense. Look at that, just moving Tommy Harris out of the way. He's getting blown off the line of scrimmage. They're starting to get linemen to the second phase onto the linebackers, allowing Harrison to pick up the first down.
Anthony Adams playing next to Smith on that defensive line for Chicago. 1st and 10. Look at the elusive Harrison again. Weave his way. He's brought down on the play by Zach Bowman out to the 14-yard line and picking up 3. I wonder if that last drive gave them a little bit of confidence the way that Jamal Lewis was running the ball.
Absolutely, and they're starting to get linemen to the second level. Anytime you can get to the linebackers like Lance Briggs and get linemen on him, and now it's up to the safeties to have to make tackles. If you're Brian Daboll, you just continue to dial up these run plays. Blowing them off that line of scrimmage on that first down play when they had the ball on the 1-yard line was a huge play.
That was a 7th consecutive run, 2nd down and 7. There was a good block by Harrison, another drop for the Cleveland Browns. They haven't had many today. That was dropped by Vickers, and the coverage on the play by Hillenmeyer.
Nothing can derail the chemistry and continuity and flow you have on offense more than this. If you're Derek Anderson, you're saying, okay, we're just now getting it going, and we have them on their heels, and you go ahead and drop that ball. Well, that gives the defense a new sense of confidence. And the offense right now got to feel really good if you're the Cleveland Browns. Continue to run the football. But now in 3rd and long, you got to put it in the air.
Briggs with some good coverage on that last play. 3rd down and 7. So they bring in Furry. They bring in Chancey Stuckey. Play clock is winding down. Down to 2, down to 1. 3rd and 7. Timeout taken by the Cleveland Browns. The personnel coming out on the field slow to assemble. 7:03 here in the 3rd. That expression of Mangini says it all. Donajay is coming on that defensive line, all 6'6" of them. He blocked an extra point earlier in the game. Alex Brown is digging in. He's got a sack today. 3rd down and 7. Pasher is in as the 5th defensive back. Here they look like they're going to creep in, and here they come. Vickers picks him up, saying, oh, there's a big-time hit. Great pressure. Hillenmeyer came through. It is an incomplete pass, even though Bowman picks it up, vacuumed it in. Anderson a little bit slow to get up.
Adewale Ogunleye as well as Hillenmeyer coming up the middle. Look at the pressure. 2 guys converging in on the quarterback, not allowing Derek Anderson to get comfortable throwing the football. Now they have to show up the run defense. But really good play. Good stop for the Chicago Bears.
Hillenmeyer playing middle linebacker today. Played outside last week. Initially took the place of Urlacher, who had the wrist injury, of course, in that Green Bay season opening game. Then Hillenmeyer cracked some ribs, and so he was out, played outside, back in the middle today. Zestadil the punt. Evan Hester from the 38. 4.28 on the hang. He breaks a Cribbs tackle. There's a flag. There's another, and he's knocked out of bounds across the way by Abram Elam near the 45. And Cribbs is down. Cribbs is down at the 34. They cannot afford to lose him. 7-yard return, 48-yard punt. Oh, look at Josh Cribbs. They use him a lot.
Well, how about him? Yeah, they use him a lot to move the ball, to try to score points. And about covering punts? He's running
During
down.
the return, illegal block in the back, number 21, receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, number 21 is Corey Graham. He's the guy who saved the ball last time from going into the end zone.
You can see Joshua Cribbs hit the ground, and he hit the ground very hard.
They're looking at Cribbs and working on that left shoulder. First down and 10 from the 30. Forte slowed down by Bowens. Carves 3 into the heart of that defense. Rodgers is the bottom of that pile too. And you can see him at the 32-yard line. Forte trying to get more rhythm to his runnings. If the Bears could run the ball, of course, is the feeling here in Chicago, the passing of Cutler would improve.
And that's what they have to do. It has to be really effective in terms of their ability to run the ball on first down. And I took a look at it. They come in averaging 3.5 yards per carry. They averaged 3.9 1 year ago, and everyone talking about Matt Forte. So they're not really off by much in terms of how well they ran the ball 1 year ago.
Second down and 7. Forte again. Block from McKee. There's Rodgers again all over the play, limiting him to a gain of about 2 to the 35-yard line. We talked to Big Sean Rodgers, a 3-time Pro Bowler, and so effusive in his praise for his defensive coordinator, Rob Ryan, as was DeQuell Jackson when we saw him in Pittsburgh a couple weeks ago.
They love playing for Rob Ryan. He makes coming to work a whole heck of a lot of fun. And Rob Ryan understands the weapon that he has in Sean Rodgers in the middle of that defensive line. The reason why they're playing so well today, I think, is because he's able to take up 2 blockers on every single play. It does turn other guys loose.
Second, make it third down, long 4. Really going to spread Hester wide. 5 in the secondary, including the receiver Furry, who plays some safety. Underneath, grabbed by Knox. Oh, the ball's loose. And Beekman jumped on it, but no gain on the play. Boy, there's some terrific coverage on the play. Adams was there. McDonald was there with the stop. 3 and out for Cutler in the offense.
Yeah, and watch, they forced a quick pass from Cutler. He dumps it off, but let's see this ball come out. Does it come out before he hits the ground? I think a knee was down, but Beekman pounces on it smartly, not even leaving it up to the officials.
There you see Maynard, and deep back is Cribbs. That's good because the last time we saw him on the Cleveland sideline, they were taking a look at that shoulder. Not a great deal of distance on this one either. Oh, and it takes a good Cleveland bounce to the 38-yard line. Things now beginning to really fall for the Browns in terms of field position. That was a 26-yard punt.
50 years since Sid Luckman. How good was he to win 4 titles during the decade of the 1940s?
First and 10 with 2 tight ends. Lewis is in. Agunleye makes the stop. Agunleye with a tackle after a gain of 3. And he has been a nice addition to that defensive line over the years for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, you can see the numbers. Better to be Luckman than good. Look at the career completions where he ranks 3rd all time for the team and still 1st in passing yards and overall touchdowns. So you're talking about a real find in the 1940s, and boy, to have gone so long and not had a quarterback so good tells you how good Sid Luckman was.
Wildcat, 2nd and 7. Cribbs trying to dance free, hit on the play by Anthony Adams. It's a gain of 2. They're going to spot him at the 44-yard line. You've done a lot of study of the Wildcat over the last couple weeks because we've seen so much of it in the NFL.
Yeah, and really what teams are doing, and Cleveland's trying to do what Miami, I think, tends to do better than any other football team. Use the Wildcat as a running package because that 8th defender in the box is normally the free guy, but the 8th player on offense is actually the ball carrier. So you actually win in terms of the numbers. You make one guy miss, you take it to the house.
Agunleye is out. Gaines Adams has come in. 3rd down and 5. And there's a loose ball and picked up by Manning. Or make it by Zach. Oh, it is Manning. Danielle Manning. The ball was down. And he's got an interception already today. 3rd turnover by the Cleveland Browns.
Steve Hyden, he's going to get the ball to him. And there's the catch. Now watch the hit. Hillenmeyer pulling at it. Manning actually gets it out. One guy held him, the other robbed him. And Manning's able to get that ball out, but you can see the catch by Hyden, and there's the strip. Hillenmeyer, nice hit by him, and then Manning strips it, recovers it. As you said, another turnover again by the Chicago Bears defense.
Here comes Cutler. You see the turnover story right there late here in the third. First down and 10 from the Cleveland 49. Look at the time for Cutler. Hester couldn't hold on to it. Elam was there defending for the Cleveland Browns. Second down and 10. Forte. Good block by Garza. And Abram Elam is there once again, dragging him down about the 41-yard line. And it's good for a gain of 8 on the play. The defense might be wearing down just a bit for the Cleveland Browns. They've been out there a lot today.
Yeah, if you're the Chicago Bears, you got to like the way that Matt Forte has run the ball today and the way they've run it, particularly on first down with Shaun Rogers in the middle. The rush yards have been hard to come by for the Chicago Bears, but as you can see on that run play, they're staying committed to it. And Rob Ryan said, hey guys, we got to plug all the gaps. They're going to not only blitz Jay Cutler, they're going to even blitz on run plays to try to blow it up in the backfield.
Third down and 2. Hester on one side, Knox on the other. The nickel for Cleveland. Big hit put on Cutler, who gets it downfield. Knox was down there. Flag was thrown. They had Rodney Poole along with Eric Wright covering. 31-yard pickup. Wright is down. Cutler was drilled by Shaun Rogers. Watch the catch by the rookie.
Yeah, great catch. You could see the defenders all run into each other, but watch the price that Jay Cutler plays. He gets hit, and under the 350-pound weight of Shaun Rogers, he stares down the barrel to complete this pass down the field. He took a lick so that Johnny Knox can catch the ball down the field. You see the dirt on the jersey. When your quarterback gets his uniform dirty and a bloody lip and a bloody tongue like what Jay Cutler has had today, boy, he's going to have to get in the whirlpool tomorrow. He's playing a football game today.
Well, the Chicago Bears playing their first home game in a month, who have, including today, 5 of the next 7 here. And as Lovie Smith told us on Friday, this is a time in our schedule, time on the calendar that will define us. And they've really kind of pinned a lot of their hopes of this season, which began with so much promise, on this time.
Well, I think they're smart enough. They know that coming into today, 10 games left on the calendar. And yeah, while they're staring up at Green Bay and the Minnesota Vikings, he understands that in Chicago, you have to come in here. You got to throw the ball in the wind and in the rain and in the mud. And he likes their chances. The way they play football, particularly on defense, and the way that they hope to be able to run the ball, they feel like they can win the majority of these games. Remember, week 2, they beat the defending Super Bowl champion Pittsburgh Steelers right here at home.
They hoist up Eric Wright, and that's the upcoming schedule for Chicago. Arizona is next year.
Next 4 games are for real, but you got to start with keeping your quarterback standing up. And, you know, people say a lot of things about Jay Cutler. I don't know if they give him enough credit for how tough he is. Take a look at that hit. We'll take a look at it after this play. Well, let's look at it now. Real speed. Here we go.
Well, now Coy Francis, who is a rookie out of San Jose State, on first and goal at the 10. Here comes Forte. Did he get inside the pylon? He did. Late call, touchdown, 10-yard run. Second touchdown run today by Forte.
Great run by Forte. Excellent read. We talk about the patience. Watch how he goes downhill, but then bounces it outside. And
Williams.
His ability to get to the outside, to the corner, and just kill the defense with speed. But it started with excellent vision, his read, and then the cut by Matt Forte, running much better today than he had in their previous game.
Chris Williams, the right tackle, and the tight end Desmond Clark with great blocking on the perimeter. Extra point is up and through. 1:42 to play here in the third. Forte, a record-setting running back out of Tulane, who had one 100-yard game this season, coming into this afternoon, gets his second rushing touchdown of the season. 13 points for Chicago, Solomon, off of 3 Cleveland turnovers this afternoon.
Yeah, it really started, I think, with the running game. Forte, 2 rushing touchdowns. Yeah, they did have to settle for field goals down inside the red zone. But once he got going, as he told us when we talked to him on Friday, When our run game gets going, we tend to go up and down the field on offense. I think he understood that he has to get it going if the Chicago Bears are going to get to where they want to go by the end of the season. It starts with their ability to run the ball with Matt Forte.
Running game number 29 coming into this afternoon as Gould has the ball teed up. He had 3 early field goals and some nice defensive red zone stands by the Cleveland Browns, but the constant pressure by Chicago, the turnovers by Cleveland is a toxic mix, and you can see the result 23-6. Here is the kickoff to Cribbs. Chased by Adrian Peterson and brought down on the play by Wolf. A couple running backs, reserve running backs chasing him down. Wolf got him. Peterson, who's active today after suffering a knee injury and out the last couple games, chasing him down. 24-yard return.
Oh, and watch this tackle. Look at that. Wolf hitting to the legs of Joshua Cribbs, cutting them down, making the tackle on special teams.
Defensive line here will have Adams along with Harrison at the defensive tackles. Alex Brown, who hobbled off the last time, will be on the line as you take a look at the numbers on Garrett Wolf. And Agunlia on the near side. First down and 10. Lewis in the backfield. Hayden with the block. Agunlia makes the stop. 29-yard line. The defense has been resting. 1-yard gain on the play. Afalava was helping on the tackle.
And now you can see, I think the Chicago Bears are starting to get it going in all 3 phases. We've seen them make special teams. Devin Hester with a nice kick return. We've seen the special teams play very well in terms of keeping Joshua Cribbs hemmed in. The offense getting it going. Now I think the defense has got to really make their minds up to be much better in terms of their run defense. They have created the turnovers, but boy, they're starting to get it going.
Second down and 9. Up the middle they come with Alex Brown outside for Chancey Stuckey. Hit by Hillenmeyer, driven out of bounds about the 41-yard line. Has a first down, first catch today, 11-yard pickup, and Chancey Stuckey has his 12th reception of the season.
But it's first for the Cleveland Browns, and he's had 4 drops coming into today's game. And as we take a look at Brady Quinn, will he get a chance to play? And I got to believe that if this offense continues to sputter, and it has sputtered today plenty, he's completed 60% of his passes. Yeah, you got the 3 interceptions, but how do you know what you have in Brady Quinn if you doesn't allow him to play? We've seen a lot of Derek Anderson.
Double tight ends on second down and 9. Make it first and 10. Here's a pass by Anderson. Cribbs on the wing. Afalava tries to knock him out of bounds. Then Tillman is across the way, runs him out of bounds at the 36. 23-yard catch and run.
In all fairness to Derek Anderson, this is a magnificent play. Watch him. Things start to break down a little bit. See, now as he scrambles, he keeps his head up and find the outlet receiver that is Joshua Cribbs. He didn't give up on the play. Anderson stayed with it. And even as the protection broke down, still found a way to get rid of the ball and get the completion.
That's into the quarter. Here we begin the fourth quarter, first down and 10. Where the Cleveland Browns are in the Wildcat, and Cribbs has Stuckey in motion, hands off to Jamal Lewis. He broke a tackle in there of Roach, and then he was hammered on the play by Marcus Harrison. Gain of 6. Second down and 4. Hayden is in motion, the Wildcat again. Cribbs. Lead blocked by Vicker. Fumble on the play. I think Roach is the one who spun the ball out of his grasp, and it looks like the Browns have retrieved it at the 27.
And Nick Roach, 53, was the guy who made the tackle and strip simultaneously. Watch number 53 comes off the block, spinning around right there, right into the tackle, and there's the strip fumble. And the Cleveland Browns are able to pounce on it.
Well, they turned it over. The Browns have 3 times today. Now it is third down and 2. Harris on this defensive series has been in. Agunlia is one defensive end. Brown is the other. They got 5 in the secondary. Cribbs in motion. Anderson hands off to Harrison, who's hit by Lance Briggs. A gain of a yard, shy of a first down. I'm sure they're going to go for it. The ball's down to about the 27-yard line.
I think you have to go for it. I mean, take a look at the scoreboard. You understand 4-down territory. If you're Eric Mangini, you have run the ball at least very effectively here in the second half of this ball game. Continue to try to give the ball to Jamal Lewis, who's been tough to tackle here in the second half. Let your offensive line tee off.
Massaquoi, top of your screen, 4th and a long 1. Harrison in the backfield. Incomplete. Looking for the tight end, Hayden, who's missed the last couple games with the knee. Afalava was there with the coverage. Al Afalava, who is a 6th-round pick out of Oregon State, starting every game. Rod Marinelli is now the defensive line coach for the Chicago Bears. He's very familiar with Shaun Rogers.
Yeah, used to coach Shaun Rogers in Detroit, where that relationship was much publicized, was not a good one. But Shaun Rogers says he respects him as a great teacher. He said, hey, I'm going to reach out to him. There was a lot of pressure on their relationship there in Detroit.
Cutler going to the near side, incomplete. He was looking for either the tight end, Kellen Davis, or Hester. Hester was matched up against the rookie, who is Francis. And Francis has taken the place of the injured Eric Ryder. 2nd down and 10. Again, at the bottom of your screen, you'll see Francis, a rookie, against Hester. Forte, with a couple of rushing touchdowns, is in the backfield, and he gets the call. And he gets a block from Clark. But there was some nice defense on the play, and it was turned in by Cam Wembley, who's got a sack today, on a gain of 4. They'll spot him at the 32.
Now, one more thing on Shaun Rogers, as he talked about Rod Marinelli. He says, you know, Coach Marinelli is an insightful teacher. So he's got a lot to teach defensive linemen. Really had a lot of praise for Coach Rod Marinelli, who we all know as a wonderful teacher, an excellent man, a really good coach. But boy, Rogers has really come on in his role. He likes playing that nose tackle in a 3-4 defense, and he was cast wrongly maybe in Detroit, where he did not play that same position.
3rd down and 6. 6 in the secondary. Wembley is blocked by Chris Williams. Cutler had all kinds of time, almost picked off, and maybe it was on the deflection. It looked like Brodney Poole. He got it. He scoops it in. Brodney Poole gets the interception, his 3rd of the year on the deflected pass, and the Browns will take over. First Cutler pick today, 3 last week. Cutler has thrown 11 picks on the season.
And watch it. I think it's Maiava. I think actually, who was it that was able to knock it down? Yeah, Maiava, 56, who started to rush, peeled off the line, was able to bat the ball up so that Brodney Poole could come over and get the interception. Look at 56. Maiava tips it up. Poole smartly gathers it in. Ooh, did that ball hit the ground?
Well, that challenge flag. With Eric Barton out, they've been playing a lot of different guys like Costanzo and Maiava, and there goes the challenge flag. And they're going to, who's listening to, they're going to take another look upstairs and see exactly what transpired on that play.
I think Lovey understands, though. He's like, you know what? I think that ball touched some grass. Don't know that he controlled it all the way and brought it in before the ball touched the ground. They may take this one off the board.
Challenging the ruling on the field of an interception.
Welcome back to Chicago, where we asked the question, did Brodney Poole make the catch on the ball before it makes contact with the ground? Did the ground move it? Don't know that it's conclusive one way or another. Remember, the call on the field was that he did make the catch, but take a look at this one. Does that ball hit the ground, and does it move slightly before he's able to pull it in? I think it's questionable that he caught it. Don't know that we have conclusive evidence.
The ruling on the field stands. It is an interception. 1st down.
Poole gets it. First Chicago turnover.
Yeah, I think the reason why is because from the pictures we saw, I don't know that it was conclusive that he did not catch it. I think the ball hit the ground, but you can't tell if that ball moved or if it was jostled while it was in the hands of Brodney Poole.
Tommy Harris is in at the defensive tackle alongside Anthony Adams. Mark Adams is one and Agunlia is the other. Harrison in the backfield, 1st and 10. Anderson, here comes Anderson with a throw, dropped Massaquoi, did he fumble the ball? Was it caught? They rule it is a turnover.
Wow.
A fumble. And the fourth turnover reeled in, vacuumed in by Tillman. A turnover by the rookie Mohamed Massaquoi out of Georgia.
Good throw by Derek Anderson. Well timed, and Massaquoi makes the catch. Now watch the hit. The hit and strip by Nick Roach jars the ball loose. Tillman falls on it.
Massaquoi with the fumble. Fourth turnover by Cleveland today. To which Chicago has rattled off 13 points. Forte has 2 rushing touchdowns. First down and 10, the Chicago Bears at their 15-yard line. Rodgers will enter the defensive line for Cleveland. Bennett blocked by Williams. Francis along with Bowens combine on the stop. 32-yard line, 17-yard gain for the all-time leading receiver in the Southeastern Conference, Earl Bennett out of Vanderbilt. The rookie Francis is down, and he's taken the place of the injured Eric Wright. Eric Barton is out with the shoulder. We told you that earlier, so they've been trying to plug in a lot of different players like Costanzo and Maiava in the middle. There's a look at Francis, who has been inactive a great portion of this season.
The wicked block by Chris Williams on Francis is what rolled him up, and why he's a little bit shaken. They pulled the right tackle, 315 pounds of offensive lineman in Chris Williams, to block a small, tiny cornerback out on the perimeter. And that's why Bennett was able to go off that block to have a sizable gain.
Now they will bring in Hank Poteet, the third different cornerback that they've had to use today.
Look at the second half numbers for the Chicago Bears on offense. They would really like to get something going on this possession.
Third different left corner out there right now. It is a 1st and 10. Forte hit by Bowens, knocked down by Adams, picks up 5 on the play to the 35. Second down and 5. Flag has been thrown. Rodgers can't get it. Cutler, and there goes Jay looking for a block, which Forte gives Trusnick. And then out of bounds, Maiava. The rookie makes the stop. Maiava is out of USC. 11-yard scramble. We told you flags are on the field. At the 42-yard line on the near side.
Jay Cutler's got no quit in him. Boy, we talk about Ben Roethlisberger being a football player. How about Jay Cutler?
Well, that's what you get. He signed the big extension, did Jay Cutler.
Holding number 24, defense, 5-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic first down.
They've got a lot of money invested in Cutler. And there's a look at Eric Wright, who's back out on the field.
We talk about some of the hits that he's taken today. He's not afraid to get his jersey dirty. You said it, with blood on his lip and dirt on his jerseys, continuing to grind it out in this football game. You got to love that. I think if you're going to be a quarterback for the Chicago Bears, don't you think you got to be a little bit tough?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But he's now a 4-year, $40 million extension tough for the Chicago team.
Got to be smart, too.
Absolutely, he is. Went to Vanderbilt. First down and 10. Forte, Peace with the block. And they knock him down about the 44-yard line, hit by Trusnick after a gain of 4. We talked so long about Chicago quarterbacks and what they've had to go through here. They've looked for this franchise guy for so long. Look at the list that have gone through here since Sid Luckman.
Notable starter since Luckman. Jack Concannon, Bobby Douglas, Bob Avellini, Vince Evans. Jim McMahon's the last Pro Bowl quarterback that they've had. And I think 1986, you've had guys like Jim Miller and Eric Kramer who've had good seasons, but they're looking for a guy who can be their quarterback for the next 10 years.
Second down and 6. 3 years ago, Rex Grossman took him to a Super Bowl. And the handoff. And the tackle was made on the play by Robert Smith. It was on Forte after a gain of 3 to the 41. I say he took him to, he was the quarterback. I don't necessarily think he is the one that that took them, but he was at that position during that season.
But this is a quarterback, Jay Cutler, who certainly has his hands on the steering wheel. Wherever this team goes, he's going to be the driver. He's going to be the conductor. And what did Johnny Knox tell us about Jay Cutler? He said, I owe him everything for what I've done so far my rookie year. He's the guy that I can go to. He has confidence in me. And he told us that as a person, Jay Cutler is a guy that's easy to work with, and he is a difference maker.
3rd and 3, nickel secondary. Cutler calls time, play clock. Had a couple seconds on there. Beautiful day in Chicago. Both teams had come in on 2-game losing streaks. 3rd down and 3 after the timeout. 6 defensive backs. See the assortment of receivers, including the tight ends out there. Pace at the block. It's Hester who's got the first down. Stopped in the play by Poteet. Dives ahead to the 20-35, and he picks up 6 on 3rd and 3. They'll move the chains.
I love the way that Jay Cutler has had a real positive influence on the wide receivers. All the guys really working hard to get open. We talked about the numbers improving for Devin Hester. I think it's really improved as a wide receiver. We know he was a special teams weapon, and as you take a look at the drive in terms of what they're doing, 2 run plays, 4 run plays, 2 pass plays, we're going to probably see more running. They're trying to kill the time off the clock. Can they close it out running the football?
1st and 10, Forte ran into Pace and then was brought down by Trusnick among others. No gain on the play. They'll stay at the 35. Hester, by the way, he had that 3rd down catch. He's had 6 catches today, 2 on 3rd down. He has become their go-to receiver.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a guy that can move the chains. We know he can create yards after the catch, and talked about the guys who have improved on offense. I think we've seen improvement from Hester. Earl Bennett has become a much better wide receiver playing with Jay Cutler. And we know Johnny Knox, the rookie, has made a real positive impact on this offense, but more weapons now taking their game to another level with Jay Cutler at the quarterback spot.
2nd down and 10. Outside, blocked by Olsen, blocked by Pace. And this is the electrifying Hester, chased by Adams and down at the 1. Oh, is he some kind of player? Devin Hester, 34-yard catch and run. So fun to watch. 1st and goal, Chicago.
Look at this play. Excellent blocking out front. Look as they pull everyone on that offensive line, and his ability to weave his way through traffic and wanting to take it to the house. He goes down right on the front porch. Doesn't make it to the front door and take it into the end zone, but boy, good blocking up front, and the speed of Devin Hester. He is a game breaker, having, I think, his best season so far.
They've been out there right now, an assortment of tight ends out there. 1st and goal at the 2. Fake to Forte. He's got 2 rushing touchdowns already. He throws it out of the end zone. They had a triple team tight end underneath the crossbar, and that was Clark.
Smart play by Cutler. Just get rid of it. Don't take a hit. Don't take a sack. Don't hold on to it if it's not there, because really it was just a play action pass, a 1-man route, designing to suck the defense up to the line of scrimmage and get his receiver open on the back end. If it's not open immediately, it's not going to be there. Just throw it away and live to fight another day.
Cutler has thrown 7 red zone interceptions the last 2 years, the most in the NFL. 2nd down and goal at the 2. Forte blocked by McKee. Avalanche of defenders down there making the stop. No gain. Boy, they had Rogers down there, and they had Abram, Elam, and Bowens. All kinds of guys stopping them right there. Of course, this has been something that Cleveland has kind of hung their hand on. They've stopped some red zone performances by Chicago.
And Sean Rogers told us this is where he prides himself, as the point man at the nose tackle position, 0 technique in the middle of a defense that come in ranked dead last in the National Football League, 31st against the run. But Rob Ryan has enough pride where he's sending everyone on this play.
3rd and goal at the 2. Forte hit by Ataba Rubin and brought down. 1-yard gain inside the 1. Stopped right there.
Whoa.
I think for confidence sake, you've almost got to go for it here and just break this string of bad luck in the red zone.
Here's the deal, because Chicago Bears know they have to be able to run the ball in November and December. But right now, against a team that's ranked 31st in terms of their run defense, they cannot power it in. And Sean Rogers and many of the defensive linemen for this Cleveland Brown team. They are determined to turn back the Browns on this play.
There are 5 defensive linemen. There are 2 defensive backs. The rest of them are linebackers. 4th and goal at the 1. The fake to Forte. Here comes C.J. Mosley. And knocked away by Wembley, and on downs. Cleveland will take over. A moral victory for this defense, which has proven to be very good in the red zone. And there's Rob Ryan and Cutler jawing back and forth at each other.
Yeah, look at Rob Ryan.
Oh, and a nice hello.
Rob Ryan.
A nice Chicago greeting.
Said something to Jay Cutler. And Jay Cutler says, Rob and I know each other well from my time in Denver. Rob Ryan in Oakland, and it's just a play-action pass. He has to get rid of it. See the pressure in his face? Hoping to find Dez Clark in the back of the end zone. Wonder why Cameron Wembley didn't intercept it instead of batting it down. And Jay Cutler had no choice but to try to give his tight end a chance to make a play. And how about the coordinator on defense for Cleveland taking the challenge from Jay Cutler?
Harrison in the backfield, 1st and 10 on downs. It goes to the Browns. Mark Anderson makes the stop. Nope, he got out of the end zone. They're going to mark him inside the 1. It is not a safety. There was no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10. The last time we saw Cutler jawing with someone, he was jawing with Phillip Rivers, the San Diego quarterback.
Well, on this play, I think if you're the Chicago Bears on defense, you've got to be even more inspired. The way you saw the Cleveland Browns defense play, yeah, the ball made it out of the end zone. All it has to do is break that white line on the goal line. But if you're Tommy Harris, and if you're Lance Briggs, if you're the Chicago Bears on defense, you've got to be inspired with what Cleveland's doing on defense and be determined to come away with some points in this situation and stop the Cleveland Browns.
Now Jamal Lewis is in 2nd down and 10. And Lewis gets a little bit of breathing space. Hit by Payne and Tommy Harris and the bunch. No gain on the play. Mark Anderson getting off that pile. Bottom of the pile was Big Anthony Adams.
What did Lance Briggs tell us? We've got to earn our respect back 1 game at a time. The fact that Cleveland Brown defense put up a goal line stand against your offense. Now you've got them pinned against the goal line. This will be a real good opportunity and a good time to start getting some of that respect back.
Maybe a takeaway. They've had 4 takeaways today as Chicago's defense 3rd down and 10. Lewis in the backfield. Anderson, he's hit as he throws. It is intercepted. It's picked off by Tillman. He gets by Wade. Look at this! Look at this! 21-yard return. I'm looking for a flag. I see no flag. A 5th takeaway. A touchdown interception for Charles Tillman.
How do you spell respect? Blood in the water. Play like a shark. There's Charles Tillman. He makes the catch. It's clean. He gets up, not just satisfied with the interception. He puts 6 on the board, and that's a defense playing their heart out for their coach, Lovie Smith, who's calling the plays on defense, sensing the opportunity to turn that kind of field position into a positive for their defense.
Gold has got 3 field goals today with the extra point. Chicago, 5 takeaways, the last of which was returned 21 yards by Tillman for the touchdown. And look at this. Brady Quinn warming up for the Cleveland Browns. And the dejected Anderson.
Why do you make the change at quarterback now? You see the quarterback comparison. Now look at this. This quarterback rating. Yeah, that's pretty woeful. Now, you got to understand that Jay Cutler certainly playing one heck of a game, and he's got better weapons. Anderson's got a lot of young receivers around him. Very young football team. And I'm sure he's telling Brian Daboll, the offensive coordinator, I had to throw it up because I couldn't get sacked in my own end zone. And I think he's right. The problem is it was a poor throw. You've got to throw that ball out near the sideline where only your guy can get it and no one else can get it. Where he put it, 2 defensive players for the Bears had an opportunity to come down with the interception.
That is the 3rd touchdown interception return for Charles Tillman. And Tillman gets his 2nd interception of the season, the 22nd of his career. And Tillman in his 7th season. And the interesting thing about Tillman, he struggled last week guarding Ocho Cinco in Cincinnati. Chan had a huge day, and he struggled against him in their 1-on-1 matchup. But he finds a little revenge today with the interception and the touchdown return. Cribbs gets by Davis. Payne is chasing. He can't get him. Flag is down. Nigel couldn't bring him down, and finally he is whacked down the play by Daryl McClover on a 55-yard return. And flags, as I said, are on the field. One at the 21, one at the 33.
Here comes Brady Quinn.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 27, 10-yard penalty.
Sorensen.
First down.
So Brady Quinn getting final instructions, and he will come in with his numbers. He came out of training camp as the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, losing the job a couple games into the year.
And I think the instructions have to be, don't turn the ball over. Move the chains. Take what the defense gives you. Don't take sacks, and don't turn the ball over. Ball security has to be #1 for Brady Quinn.
Chicago has scored 20 points off 5 Cleveland turnovers today. Look at that quarterback rating. Wow. 1st and 10. Quinn, Massaquoi, hit by Tillman, knocked out of bounds, and Massaquoi a little shove to Tillman, who gave one initially to Massaquoi.
You can see the turnover differential has not been good at all.
2nd down and 1 with Harrison in the backfield. That's incomplete. The ball was coming outside. Massaquoi, the rookie receiver, was going straight up the numbers and trying to burn him with a route that took him straight ahead.
Well, Massaquoi's got to know that he's got to snap the route off. 3-step drop. See, they're blitzing, but he continues to run up the field. So everyone expected the 3-step drop. On the hot route, he's got to turn it into a shorter route and prepare himself to catch the ball. Clearly not on the same page as his quarterback, Brady Quinn.
Cleveland on 3rd downs today, 1 of 10, 3rd down and 1. Harrison in. Drop by Hyde.
It doesn't get better. You can swap out quarterbacks, but when guys continue to put the ball on the ground, run wrong routes, it really is going to hurt the performance of the quarterback. You can see Brady Quinn trying to assert some leadership. The Massaquoi say, hey, you didn't snap off your route. Pay attention to what we're doing. And you got a lot of young players. But, you know, Brady Quinn's a smart guy. I can tell you right now, I believe he knows the offense. He knows where guys are supposed to line up and where they're supposed to be.
Zastudil with the punt. He's been busy today. Hester drifting back to the 30. Shaw with the block. Here he comes. There goes a flag. Daniel Manning with the block, and there he goes. They'll chase him into the end zone, but like I said, flags are down. And I think it was on Chicago.
Wow. Is he fun to watch or what?
Oh, yeah. Him and Cribbs both 2 terrific return men. 2 of the most explosive in the NFL.
During the return, holding, number 81, receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's Rasheed Davis, who picks it up. As much as he will sit there and protest, they're telling him to.
Lovie Smith said, that's enough. Go have a seat. That's where they're calling it right there. Is that much of a hold? I'm not so sure of it. Details are very sketchy on that one.
36-yard line, 1st down and 10. 2.5 to play in what will be Chicago's 4th win of the season, stopping a 2-game losing streak. And Cleveland will drop to 1-7. Wolf will run the ball.
He won't go down.
5 and finally brought down by Robert Smith, the ex-Tennessee Titan. Gain of 5. Wolf, 3 years out of Northern Illinois. Coming up to the 2-minute warning. Massaquoi Still being counseled on not only the drop earlier, but this time being talked about his route running. Boy, there's a lot on Mangini's plate now in Cleveland. 5 Chicago Bear takeaways and 20 points the result. Early on, some pretty good red zone defense by Cleveland, but just the avalanche of turnovers, and they just broke Cleveland's defense today.
Well, look at the balance on offense by the Chicago Bears. 20 of their points have come off those 5 turnovers by the Cleveland Brown offense.
2nd down and 5. Cutler still in. Wolf getting a block from Des Clark and close to a 1st down. Gain of about 5 on the play. Here is a timeout that was taken by Cleveland. Cleveland has taken a timeout.
You mean they want to prolong this thing, right?
Well,
no answer.
I have no answer for you right there.
We talked to Eric Mangini. We sat after our initial meeting was over. We talked about tackling drills, and boy, we were both coaching it up. This guy's inability to get Devin Hester on the ground, of course, on one play, and then turnovers more than anything has hurt his football team. But you get the sense that, he really is trying to coach his guys up and making all the moves necessary. How about David Bowens moving into inside linebacker? I thought made a difference today, playing next to Eric Barton, but just way too many holes to fill right now for Eric Mangini. This is not a very good football team, to be honest with you. Their inability to move the ball on offense. I think defensively, Rob Ryan has his guys putting up a fight. But when you turn it over 5 times, you put your defense in a real difficult position. And sooner or later, the floodgates just burst wide open.
And on the 2nd down run, look at Garrett Wolf. Chased by Brodney Poole and out of bounds at about the 13, 12-yard line. Poole chased him, brought him down. 35-yard run by Garrett Wolf, who's taking the place of Matt Forte, who had 2 touchdown runs today himself for the Chicago Bears.
Speaking of floodgates, Garrett Wolf is one of those guys. He comes in wanting to make a name for himself. So if you think the Chicago Bears are just going to give up because the score is 30-6, Wolf, he doesn't care. He wants to come in and break off a couple of big runs. He goes in for film study tomorrow. He gets to see himself running up and down the football field.
And for the Chicago Bears now, they thought this was a very crucial part of their schedule, beginning today, 5 of the next 7 at home. They've started on the right foot, regaining some momentum after their horrible loss last week in Cincinnati. They come back, and now they are 4-3.
Well, we asked the guys, including Lovie Smith, this is one of those get-right games. His team needed to get right today. They needed this kind of win, but more importantly, they needed to play well in all 3 phases of the game: offense, defense, and special teams, and boy, did they.
Chicago goes to 4-3. Cleveland goes to 1-7. 5 Cleveland turnovers. Another tough day at the office for Eric Mangini. 30-6 is our final score. The Chicago Bears have beaten the Cleveland Browns.